We are at the Speed Art Museum here in Louisville, Kentucky. Come on, let's go inside. Hi, I'm Derek. Welcome to I See, I Think, I Make. I'm really glad that you are here. On this show, we do three things. We see some different works of art, we think about a few big ideas, and then we make some original artwork of our own. It's a lot that we're trying to do. So first, we need to get ready. Today, we are focusing on glass art, which is surprisingly complex because glass is many different things, all happening at the same time. Usually, to get ready to do something creative, we move our bodies around, shake out all that nervous energy. But this is different. To explore all the possibilities of glass, we need to stretch our minds. So, we are going to keep our bodies very still and let our big brains do the hard work. So first, find a place to sit and get comfortable. Let your body relax and become very still. Nice slow breath in and out. Now, turn on your powerful imagination. I want you to imagine your body is completely made of glass. So slowly start to visualize your body as having the same properties of glass. Solid, very still, smooth, cold. As your body becomes more like glass, it takes on more of the properties of glass. Some glass can be translucent. We can see light and color pass through. Imagine that's happening with you. Now, push your imagination even further and let your body become transparent, completely clear, like a window. You can see every detail of the room through you and around you. When you've become completely transparent, you've become invisible. Feel your mind working to make this impossible idea happen. See it in your mind. You can do this because your imagination is so powerful. Okay, now slowly become visible again and slowly become yourself again. And now we are ready to begin. There are a few big questions on today's episode. What contradictions can we use to describe glass? What safe materials do you have at home that have similar properties as glass? And how can you make your own wearable glass art? The more we look at glass, the more surprises we find. And to really appreciate glass art, we have to embrace all the contradictions we find in glass. So, contradictions are words that are opposites, like big and small. And normally when we describe something, we think only one of those two words can be true. But the interesting thing about glass is that the words we use can be opposites, and both are true. So let's look closely at glass and start noticing all the contradictions. So here, we're going to try something. I have a pane of glass. I've got these gloves on to make sure I don't get any smudges on it. And as you would guess, it's clear, so you can see through it. But we are going to try an experiment here. Let me show you what glass can do. We're going to turn off the lights. So here's my flashlight, and here's my friend the robot. Now my friend robot here is looking at this pane of glass and can see me through the glass because light travels through glass really easily. But look at this. Light also reflects off of the glass, so it looks like there's two robots, but there's not. There's only one. So light passes through glass, but it also reflects off of the glass. Pretty neat. As we walk through a gallery filled with glass art, we can feel something start to change in us. We start to move a little slower, probably because we want to be careful around all the glass, but it's also because glass seems to move slowly, so we slow down too. And then we start noticing all the contradictions we can use to describe glass. Here's a pair of words, solid and liquid. Glass is both of these. When it's heated, it moves like a liquid. When it cools, it becomes solid. But even as a solid, it can still have many of the properties you find in liquids. You can see through it. Sometimes you can even see tiny air bubbles trapped inside. Or shapes of the glass that look like water waves. Sometimes glass even looks like liquid pouring out of a cup, but suddenly frozen in time. If you want to make art with a material that has both the properties of a liquid and a solid, you can experiment with water. As a liquid, you can change its shape, its color, you can even mix in different objects, and then you freeze it and explore how a liquid looks when it's frozen in time. Here's another pair of opposite words for glass, fragile and strong. Glass is both of these. Glass is fragile. If you drop it, it can easily break. But glass is also strong and durable. Glass doesn't easily deteriorate. In fact, glass is one of the longest lasting human-made materials on the planet. It takes about 1 million years for a piece of glass to decompose. So this artwork is by the American artist Che Rhodes. Che Rhodes is an artist who explores the extreme possibilities of what glass can do. Delicate in design and shape, but also strong enough to carry this heavy chain without falling apart. And if you want to see the whole interview with Che Rhodes, you can find the link below. In this artwork, glass is both strong and fragile at the same time. If you want to make art at home with a material that is both fragile and strong, try using paper. Paper crumbles and tears really easily, but you can fold it in certain ways that can support an incredible amount of weight. It's fragile and it's strong. Here's another pair of opposite words we can use to describe glass, smooth and sharp. When glass breaks, it can be very dangerous because it's so sharp. But in the hands of an artist, glass can have the most graceful shapes. We even have a common expression, smooth as glass. If you want to safely experiment with a material that is both smooth and sharp, try silly putty. Press it out on a table and you can see how smooth it gets, almost like glass. And then if you tear it apart fast, it breaks with this hard edge to it. It can be smooth, it can also be sharp. Clear and colorful, large and small, smooth and rough, transparent and opaque. The next time you're in a museum with glass art, look for all the opposite words you can use to describe glass. Let's see how much you know about glass with a game called 3 Truths and a Lie. I'm going to give you 4 sentences about glass, and 3 of them are true, but 1 of them is a lie. Your job is to figure out which one is the lie. You ready? The only material sharper than broken glass is a razor blade. When glass breaks, the cracks move faster than the speed of sound. Glass can be created naturally by lightning or by a volcano. In America, more glass is recycled than plastic. So think about all 4 of these sentences and figure out which one is the lie. You got your answer? Okay. The only sentence that is a lie is the first one, because glass is even sharper than a razor blade. In fact, the cut edge of a piece of glass is the sharpest surface in the world. If you got that right, you're pretty sharp too. A safe way to use glass in your own artwork is with glass beads. So I'm going to show you an object that has been decorated with glass beads, and it's from our Art Detectives program. That's why I'm wearing these gloves, because I want to keep this object safe. I'm going to show it to you, and I want you to guess what it is. What do you think this is? If you guessed a shoe or a moccasin, you're exactly right. This is it's called a moccasin. It's a shoe that you can slip your foot into it, and this one has a little tie. So you can keep it tight around your foot. But the part that I really want you to look at is all of the design on it. These designs were made with very small glass beads of lots of different colors, and they're sewn in all of these patterns. It goes all the way around. It's glass beads. My friend Talia has been doing some experimenting with glass beads herself in her own wearable artworks. Have a look.
Hey, welcome to the Art Lab today. I'm Talia, and I'm so excited to show you how to make a cool wire-wrapped glass beaded ring. I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me, it's gonna be super easy. Now, today's craft is inspired by one of my favorite artists named Joyce J. Scott, and she creates these marvelous glass beaded structures and wearable art, similar to what we have going on here. Her art looks like this, and this. Isn't it marvelous? She's a genius, and we can be geniuses too. So now that we know what we're making and why we're making it, let's create.
Now, let's talk about the supplies for the project. You can find all of these supplies at your local craft store or Amazon.com. First, you'll need beads, and we'll be using this for the base of our ring today. And these are more specifically glass beads, multiple variety of colors. Next, we have our 24 gauge wire, and when you're picking out wire for this project, you'll want to make sure that it's thin enough to thread through the bead at least 2 times. Here we have our wire cutters, and lastly, we have our wire tweezers. With all the supplies lined out, let's start wire wrapping that ring. To get started, you'll first need to measure out about 6 inches of wire. Once you're done with that, you'll cut the wire with wire cutters. Once the wire is cut, it should look something like this. And now we're ready to thread. After picking your bead color, and here I chose blue, you'll loop it through the wire 1 time. Then you'll take the bead over to the far left side of the wire, and then using the right side of the wire, loop it through the bead once again. Once the bead is sitting in the middle of both ends of the wire like you see here, you'll take both ends and you'll pull them in separate directions, and you'll tighten the middle of the ring. And that circle there is going to be your ring size. And so I'm putting it on my finger just to see how it will fit. And again, I'm adjusting that wire to make sure I have the perfect fit. Now to make the ring sturdier, you're going to take the longest side of the wire, and for me it's the right side. So I'm taking the right side of the wire and I'm wrapping it around one more time. I'm wrapping it around that circle there. And with the leftover wire, I'm going to begin making small loops around the side of the glass bead. So here you just keep wrapping and keep wrapping and keep wrapping. Once the side of the ring is wrapped to your desired liking, you'll take that extra piece of wire and you'll cut it. Once the wire is cut, you'll take your tweezers and you'll continue to wrap around the side. So I'm almost finished with the entire ring here, and I'm continuing to wrap around just to get those fine details. Once you're at the end of looping the wire, there will be one tiny piece of wire sticking out. To fix this, you'll simply take your tweezers and wrap it underneath the line of loops. This will prevent any scratching when you take the ring off and on. And now we're done. You have a cool wire-wrapped beaded ring.
Now that we're finished making our ring, it's time to show it off to the world. I had so much fun creating art with you, and I hope you have a creative day. Bye!
Thanks, Talia, for letting us visit your art lab. As we've seen, glass is a great material for making art because it refuses to be just one thing. It's many things, all at once. So the next time you're looking at glass art, notice all the beautiful contradictions of glass. It's a great reminder that you don't have to be just one thing. You can be many things, all at once, no matter how contradictory they are. Thank you for watching I See, I Think, I Make.